welcome to the Solo Ant Show. I'm your host, Expecting Ant, and right beside me is my trusted left-hand man, Romeo.
I am your right hand man, not left hand man.
Nah, you're my left-hand man.
What up, dog? We're here again,
Yes, we're here.
making it happen. And I do want to apologize for last episode's Mr. Anthony a little bit intoxicated. Well, not intoxicated, but high in life. Wasn't that right, Mr. Ant-Man? And
Living my
it's
best life. I ain't going back and forth with you, niggas. Living my best life. Bitch, get high, bitch.
you don't have the script, fool.
Oh, yeah, this is the Solo Ant multiverse where we talk about comics adapted to TV shows and films or anything comic book related.
Good job, good job. Yeah, you did it, you did it. All right, cool, man. What's going on?
We're about to go into the best nigga.
All right, all right.
Yeah, so we're doing this podcast because Aubrey, Romeo.
Whoa,
Yeah.
incognito. But go
Well,
ahead.
no. Aubrey too. Drake. So it's just been on it's been on his mind lately, and we just want to take this time, let him get off his chest about Batman and Superman and the whole DCEU. You just got a lot of things on your mind, so we're gonna use this as a therapy session
Yeah,
to let Romeo get all the shit off his chest.
I got a lot of feelings right now, man. So much feelings going on with the DCEU. I mean, with the DCEU has had its flops up and down, especially with the whole
Up and down,
up
round
and
and round.
round, especially with the Suicide Squad, the Justice League, and Wonder Woman did well as a somewhat standalone film, still tied in with the DCEU. Shazam did very well, still tied in with the DCEU in some sort of way. There were like hints that it's still tied into that universe. Aquaman did awesome, right? Especially with the Black Manta. Oh, he was dope. I love the Black Manta. He was. I mean, straight off from the comic book. Especially with his big ass metal manta head. I love that shit. Whoa. Uh, because you just sent me a photo. I'm sorry. I just got distracted right now. All right. Anyway.
I was just showing you my lady friend.
Good job, man. Good job, Inspector. And
just in case you want to be my best man.
I'm down with that. I mean, and now, I mean, we kind of had some sort of a conversation about the new Batman. How did you feel about that? The new Batman, the new Batman, in where they would be using more of his detective skills as part of the concept story.
Well, they just feel like some breaking news. I'm not sure if you heard this yet. Warner Brothers announced 14 hours ago they're going to reboot the whole entire DCEU.
Yeah. So more multiverse shit for the Flash to talk about. The DCEU is going to be in separate universes now, so it's not no longer connected to the previous JLA, Batfleck, Superman. It's not going to be connected to that, right? I mean,
So basically, even though Aquaman and Shazam reference Justice League, basically Warner Brothers are just trying to. Justice League was so bad, Warner Brothers just trying to sweep it under the rug, and they want to pretend like it never happened. So what they want to do is that starting with the Batman movie that comes out in 2021, they'll basically be starting like a whole new cinematic universe. So like whatever happened with Justice League and Batman versus Superman and Suicide Squad, Warner Brothers wants you to do the Men in Black thing and just erase that from your memory. And so the new DC extended cinematic universe will start with the Batman in 2021. You have the rebooted Suicide Squad, which is coming out, I think in 2022. Then they're going to come out James Gunn.
James Gunn.
And written by James Gunn.
And written by James Gunn. So this is going to be good.
Yeah, and then Birds of Prey, which is coming out. And I'm sorry, it's actually going to start with Wonder Woman 1984, which comes out in 2020. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And for right now, they're looking for a new Superman, as they're going to make a whole Kryptonian movie. They're also thinking about making a Supergirl movie as well.
Okay. So how do you feel about that? About what you just mentioned? The whole lineup.
It sounds good. I understand them wanting to reboot Suicide Squad. My only fear is what happened with the Amazing Spider-Man. That sometimes you can do it too soon. Because like Spider-Man 3 came out in 2007, and then in 2012 they decided to come out they decided to reboot it with Amazing Spider-Man. It's like only 5 years. It's only a 5-year gap, so it was too soon. And then same thing with Suicide Squad. Like Suicide Squad came out in 2016. 2022 they're gonna reboot it again. So I just think maybe it's too soon. Maybe let it sit for a while. Let people if Warner Brothers wants people to forget about that shit, the best thing is to let it take your time and just let it die down for people to forget.
Like let those films like age a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You know what I mean? Just like the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four, when they rebooted it, and they had, I think it was called Fan-4-Stick instead of the Fantastic Four.
Well, Fantastic Four, though, to me, I thought that was like a good enough time because they waited like 8 years. Their problem was that they tried to make Fantastic Four really dark, and that doesn't really fit the Fantastic Four universe. Fantastic Four is not meant to be that dark. Yeah,
I know that, but I mean, how long ago did that latest Fantastic Four film come out?
Let's see, it was 2015, so that was 4 years ago.
4 years ago, so they're going to be adding another 5 or 6 years on this before they even throw in the new Fantastic Four. So that's almost like a decade.
Well, the new Fantastic Four that'll go into.
Marvel.
I mean, we're gonna talk about that later, but yeah, that goes to the whole Phase 4. Yeah,
we'll talk about that later. But with the, I think they should have done. I agree with you. They should wait a little bit before they start rebooting things because I still feel that Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice is fairly new. I mean, it's been out for how many years, but I still feel it's still around because it's not that old yet. The same goes with the Justice League.
Yeah, I mean, it was just 2016. That was 3 years ago.
3 years ago, exactly. And now, see, my thing is, if they're going to reboot everything, what's going to happen with Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and Shazam? Because they did very well in the box office. You like Shazam. We talked about Shazam. You love that movie.
Yeah, I also like Aquaman and Wonder Woman.
And Wonder Woman.
But the thing is, like, Wonder Woman is still going to be part of it, which is going to
be
part
weird. It's part of it. Part of what?
The new cinematic universe is going to start with Wonder Woman 84, which comes out next year.
Okay, and what is that part of, though? What universe is that part of?
The new DC cinematic universe.
Isn't that kind of strange, though? I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's weird because, okay,
you have the same actress.
You're taking the actress. Yeah, that'd be like when Warner Brothers rebooted Spider-Man, they brought back Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be weird. With a whole new origin or story that ties nothing to the last previous. It's like that Ghost Rider movie. Remember when they did Ghost Rider with Nicolas Cage?
Yeah.
And they decided to reboot it with a different origin. They're using the same actor. We're like, what the fuck? Wait, is this? And I was questioning, like, is this a sequel? And they stated, no, this is not a sequel. It's a reboot of the last Ghost Rider that they failed to do.
Yeah, I thought it was a sequel.
I thought it was a sequel too, but according, I guess not. I mean, they just happened to use the same actor, or Thanos did a snap and it fucked up Ghost Rider. Thanos did a snap, and then now Ghost Rider ended up in a different origin with the same actor because of Thanos' snap. That's my fan theory.
How do you feel about the dude that plays Green Arrow? Mad that they won't make a Green Arrow movie.
Was he mad about that?
Yeah, he feels like they should, that he said he's down to make a Green Arrow movie and feels like Green Arrow should be part of the cinematic universe, but for right now they're gonna keep it as just a TV show.
Okay, if we put this, what's his name again?
The guy, the actor,
the actor Oliver Queen,
Stephen Amell.
Yeah, what is it again? Steve Amell, right? Or Camille?
Yeah, Amell.
Amell. Okay, the Arrowverse is completely different, bro. Completely different. It's like adding Daredevil in Netflix and putting him in the MCU cinematic universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's how weird it is. They even Netflix stated that their Daredevil, Luke Cage.
Well, okay, so this year is the last season of Arrow. After this year, there's no more Arrow, so they could still make a movie, but just like kind of reboot it. I mean, I guess you have the same actor playing him and just make a Green Arrow movie with the same actor, and it has nothing to do with the TV show. Just make it like separate.
Wouldn't that be almost the same? I mean, this is the same argument. Wouldn't be the same? Wouldn't that be the same thing as putting having Wonder Woman in the DCEU? Next, you know it, they're going to put her on Wonder Woman. What is it? 1984, 1884.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be the same thing? Having the same actor or actress playing one role.
Well, kind of, but that's assuming if people that watch the movies actually watch the TV shows as well. Not everybody watches the TV show.
I'm sure, but then they're gonna once they watch the movies, if they see a Stephen Amell Green Arrow movie, I'm sure they're gonna do a little bit of research and see where he came from. They're gonna be like, okay, look, oh, cool, there's a Green Arrow movie. I wonder who the actor is. Oh, Stephen Amell. Oh, okay, not too familiar with the guy. Let me research him real quick. Wait a minute, he's in this show called Arrow. Does that have anything to do with Green Arrow? No, let me check it out real quick. Check it out. Wait,
I'm actually surprised there.
There's 6 seasons.
They're on season 8. Well, I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised they actually canceling the show. I thought the show was actually been doing pretty good.
I thought the show was doing pretty good. But there's a lot of fans that Arrow was a little too dark for the comic character himself. There's a lot of complaints. From a lot of people. But then again, you can never please these fanboys. You can never please everybody. But I like it.
First of all, remember that's sexist. Because there's fangirls too. Why does it have to be fanboys?
I said fan base.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I'm sure. I said fan base.
You know what I'm saying? Women could be just as kooky as men.
Punch a man, you can punch a woman too. No, I'm just fucking with Equality, baby. Equality. So we're getting a little bit sidetracked. So back to the DCEU. The Batman. Okay, this new Batman. Now, there's news talking about this Batman, as you stated, being separate. You're stating that every character is now being separated, like all these other films.
So basically, so starting with Wonder Woman 1984, which comes out 2020 next year.
Okay.
every DC movie after that is gonna be considered uh, part of the new DC uh, extended universe. So all the movies that came before that, so basically what they're doing is they're gonna it's like a new 52. They're gonna reboot the whole entire cinematic universe because like I said, Warner Bros. They lost so much money with Suicide Squad, Batman versus Superman, and Justice League that they just want to sweep it under the rug and they just want to pretend like that shit never happened. And they're just going to start all over next year with the new cinematic universe.
Wait, a new cinematic universe,
Yeah.
or are the films going to be standalone?
No,
Not
it's
not
gonna be
connected to each other.
it's gonna be a new cinematic universe.
Okay, so explain the Joker movie. What is that?
That is
Standalone film.
yeah, it's gonna be a standalone film. As I said, but that comes out this year. It starts next year with Wonder Woman.
I see. Okay. So what went wrong with DC, man? Tell me.
Well,
What
okay,
did
well, a
DC
lot of people.
do that Marvel did,
I
or what
think.
did DC do?
Okay, you think where did the first? So are you asking like where did the first cinematic universe went wrong?
Yeah.
I think where they went wrong was that they did a bad job of um, story development and
Uh-huh.
developing these characters. Like I said, with Marvel, because you have to remember before the Avengers came out, they did a great job for at least a good 5 6 years establishing these characters. Started with Iron Man, then they came out with Captain America, then they came out with Thor, and then even in those movies they introduced like Iron Man 2, they introduced Black Widow, and Thor they introduced Hawkeye. So by the time and then also too the Hulk movie that came out in 2008 with what's his name from Fight Club. Can't think of his name right now. Before they recasted him with Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that was part of the Marvel's cinematic universe. So as I'm saying, like Marvel did a great job of building up these characters, introducing these characters, and then by the time the Avengers movie came out, we already knew who everybody was. And I think
Hmm.
DC's mistake is that they didn't do that. They just automatically it's like, okay, Batman versus Superman, and like we have no idea who the fuck this Ben Affleck Batman is. Like he's just some random guy who just showed up. And apparently, according to the movie, he's been Batman for 20 years, but we have no idea because the last Batman we saw was Christian Bale. Christian Bale just looked nothing like Ben Affleck. And then same thing with Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad to me was just mostly bad writing. Like there's the movie just terrible writing. I think that's what killed that movie because the movie to me just didn't really flow and it didn't really make any sense. And then Justice League goes back to what I was saying before of how like they didn't establish the characters. It's just all of a sudden like okay, we got a Justice League movie. It was like who's Flash? Who the fuck is this Aquaman guy? Like Cyborg, who the hell's this? Like they went into it assuming like everybody's just comic book fans. And they have to understand that not everybody's comic book fans. They just like watching the movies and they don't know who the fuck these characters are. Like
Okay.
I think when you're gonna make movies like this, and I'm about to name drop, but we can't get in trouble because I don't know her last name. But like Stephanie, remember she was remember
Who's Stephanie?
yeah, who is that chick?
Remind. Who's Stephanie?
Because like
Remind the listeners who
uh,
Stephanie is.
they don't know who she is, but I'm saying name drop, but I don't know her
But
last name, so we can't
who's
get.
she to us? Who's she to us?
All right, so this girl Stephanie, she's a former classmate of ours when we were in college, and she does not like Star Wars. Like one time we actually for film class we had to watch episode 4, and this bitch threw a temper tantrum in class crying because our professor, yeah, our professor had the nerve, our professor had the audacity to force this bitch to watch Star Wars. And you think it'd be like the easiest day in class ever, watch Star Wars, but she threw a
Uh,
temper tantrum and started crying.
Imagine getting grades just to watch Star Wars, man.
Yeah,
Getting
like you
AC who fails a class? Who fails a class in where the subject is all you gotta do is watch Star Wars episodes 4, 5, and 6, and you get an A.
Dude, it's not even fail. It's not even failing the class. It's just like you just imagine, like, okay, you go to class and it's like, hey, we're watching Star Wars today. Like, who wouldn't want to be happy about that?
Who would want to be
Like,
happy about it?
why do you want to, why you want to throw a temper tantrum? Like, you actually want to do work?
Well, apparently there was one unhappy camper in that group.
Yeah, but it wasn't even about like, it was just the fact that she hates Star Wars, even though she admitted she never watched it, and so because of that, she threw a temper tantrum in class. But anyway, the reason why I bring her up is because she liked, the because at the time we were in college, Dark Knight came out and the first Iron Man came out, and
Uh,
so like she loved both movies, but she never read any of the comic books, and she doesn't know anything about the characters. So I
okay.
think that the reason why I mentioned her is I feel like DC they need to learn because this is what Marvel did. They made the movies for people like her who've never watched any of the cartoons, who've never read any of the comic books.
Right,
She just
right, right, right.
she just watched the movies, and
Right.
so you gotta make it for people like her so they can figure out who these characters are.
Yes, the
And I
general
feel like that's what
audience.
DC. Yeah, that's what I feel like that's what DC failed.
Yeah, I totally agree with you because DC thought, okay, I guess everybody is already in that train to the whole comic franchise. But what they forgot to do, forgot about was the general audience. Like, yeah, these people are invested with these characters now, and we are getting new fans and fan base who has never read comics before are now wearing Iron Man T-shirts, Black Panther T-shirts, and Captain America T-shirts, and even like people are even putting tattoos of these superheroes. But remember, they invested in these characters 10 years ago before the Avengers first came out. They
Yeah,
already knew about all the characters. What DC did was they're introducing characters that nobody knows. Like the general, like what are these group of people? Like who are these? Like even with Batman and v Superman, Aquaman comes out as like who's the fish guy? Who is that? Nobody knows who that guy was. Nobody even knew who the actor was except for Game of Thrones. That's the only that's the only they don't know anything about Aquaman. I mean, yeah, there's Wonder Woman, and then you see they're talking. You see the Flash. Like who the
yeah,
fuck is the Flash, right? Unless if you're like one of those CW CW audience where I know the Flash is, but why does he look like that?
Well, yeah, but I mean, even
You
like
know
okay, but even Batman though, it's like okay, yeah, everybody knows who Batman is, but you have to remember when the first Man of Steel came out, it came out the same year as Dark Knight Rises. So if you're a casual fan, you're thinking like, okay,
what I mean?
like Dark Knight Rises and Superman's like
It's
the
Christian
same
Bale.
universe. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the same. It's all in the same universe. And then all of a sudden, it's like, okay, here's Batman, but it's not the Batman that we remember. It's somebody else who's older.
Why does everything look different? You know,
Yeah,
why is Batman killing? Why does everything look different? Why are there special effects with Batman? I don't get it. What happened? I thought Batman retired. Like there's a
yeah,
lot of pieces.
yeah, and it's
Yeah,
like okay, like why? Yeah, like you said, why is Batman killing? Because when I watched Dark Knight Rises, no, I could have swore his thing was he doesn't kill. And
right, right.
it's like why is Batman using a voice modulator instead of using that his raspy ass voice?
See, they thought that everyone was up to date with the history of the comics. Like everyone's up to date. Like even the people who never read comic books, Warner Brothers was under the impression, oh, well, since everybody is watching, everyone's watching Civil War and Avengers and all this stuff, um, they're reading comic books now, right? Wrong. You think these people read comic books after watching the films? No, nobody's reading
No.
comic books. No, the only people reading comic books are the people who are reading comic books from the beginning. When comic books like who read the comic
It's
books from the start
no,
before the film.
it's basically people our age because kids today don't read comic books. Like paper to them feels funny.
Exactly. So nowadays there's digital comics, and people still don't get into that yet. Like people are not going to read comic books because they still think it's comic-y. It's comic books. They're watching the films because the films are good and the characters are great, and it's I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to compare, like, you, because nowadays, like, people, when people watch the films, they're like, "Oh yeah, I love comic books." Like, what? So what comic book have you ever read? I don't know, Archie. I used to read Archie's
Yeah,
comics. Does that count? Is that in the cinematic universe?
Garfield. I used to read
Garfield?
Garfield in the newspaper.
That counts, right? No, they're not going to read comic books after the films. That's what DC failed. That's what they where they failed. They thought, because everyone's watching all the cinematic the MCU films, they thought that since the films are out, I'm guessing everyone knows who Superman is, and Batman and Wonder Woman and the Flash, right? Because everyone's
Cyborg.
Cyborg. Nobody knows Cyborg except for the except for the people who actually read the comic books or watches Teen Titans. And there weren't that many. I mean, there's a big fan base for Teen Titans, but not everybody knows about the Teen Titans.
Well, yeah, not only that, but like if you're of a certain age, like you probably never even seen that cartoon. Because
Exactly.
like again, going back to Stephanie, I highly doubt she was watching Cartoon Network back then, but she's seen it. So that's what I'm saying. Like you got to make these movies for people like her, and
The general audience.
yeah, and assume like no, they don't know who these people are.
Yeah.
Because like it'd be like if I was to make like a Friday the 13th, if I was to reboot Friday the 13th, like I can't just put Jason in there and act like everybody knows who Jason is. I gotta
Yeah.
I gotta retell his story and
Yeah.
why is he killing everybody.
From when he was a human, before he even puts the mask on.
Yeah. Well, actually, in the first like two movies, I think it was his mom that was actually the serial killer.
Right. You're right. Exactly. So you have to start off with that. If you're going to
Yeah.
reboot the story, don't jump the chapters. Start it way from the beginning. You may even need to start it to before the beginning, like a prequel of the beginning, if you want to reboot something. Like if we're for instance, as you're referencing Friday the 13th. Let's say if it wasn't his mom, let's say it was his mom's brother's auntie. If you really want to
Yeah.
really invested, like really start it off there, make that the first chapter, and this is, I'm not saying that's what happened. And then second, third chapter is the mom, fourth, fifth, sixth chapter is Jason. You don't start off with Jason from the first movie. And I agree with you. You're jumping. You're jumping chapters. You're losing the character development with these characters, and you're just fucking them in the ass because nobody gives a fuck who they are because they don't know who the fuck they are. So if any of them died, you think anybody's gonna care? Like, oh, Cyborg died. I guess it's sad, but I don't know too much about him.
Yeah. It's
So
like why should I care?
exactly. Why should I care? You know. And the thing with Warner Brothers is the reason, and everyone knows this. They were rushing it because Disney, Marvel, they're making so much money. They see, if Warner Brothers only believed in the what Marvel was doing with Iron Man, if they paid attention with what they did with Iron Man, and saw what they were planning to do with Iron Man, mentioning the Avengers at the end of the first Iron Man, where like Nick Fury like mentions the Avenger initiation. Warner Brothers should have done their homework and said, "Oh shit,
No, what they
are
should have done
they?"
was listen. What they should do is listen to Chris Nolan, because Chris Nolan said back in 2012 that a DC universe isn't going to work.
But how come it worked for Marvel then?
Well, okay, so I'll go with Chris Nolan, and I somewhat agree with him in the sense
Okay.
that he feels like if you read Marvel comic books, like Marvel has like his own like world. Um,
No,
while
DC
Steve,
does. DC
yeah,
has its own world.
yeah, DC. I'm sorry, DC has his own world.
Yeah, Metropolis
He
doesn't exist. Gotham doesn't exist.
yeah,
Marvel is the real time world in our
yes,
world.
yeah, like everything's in New York.
Yeah, New York.
I think
LA.
Iron Man is like in Malibu.
Yeah, I mean, X Men is in like was it Atlanta or
No,
no, no, X
no,
Men
it's in New York. It's in New York.
or New York.
That's why I have so many X Men Spider Man crossovers.
But Venom was like in San Francisco. I
Well, yeah, for the movie they made him in San Francisco, but he's supposed to be in New York.
think
But yeah,
the symbiote could be gay, and that's okay. It's okay if the symbiote's gay because gay is okay.
but
I got a parasite in me. That's why I'm acting like this. Oh, why are you acting? I'm kissing boys. No, I'm just
the
fucking
boy,
around. I'm just want to talk about that shit right now. I'm attached to this man because San Francisco is making me a flamboyant symbiote.
I can't stop sucking dick. I don't know why.
There's a parasite in me. Anyway, yeah, I'm sorry. It's the fact that he's in San Francisco. I'm surprised
Uh,
the symbiote didn't get affected by the San Francisco movements.
and with that, make sure you celebrate Gay Pride with Sprecher. You know, get a little pee in your ear.
There you go. You're in your ear. All right, but what were you saying? I'm sorry, dude.
Oh yeah,
It's just
so yeah, so Chris Nolan felt like a cinematic universe for DC wouldn't work because he didn't think like the characters will mix on film. Like what you see with like on the cartoons, he didn't think that would work with film because like you know for example in the movies, Batman is so dark while Superman is not, and he didn't feel like the two worlds will be able to connect together.
that makes so much sense because Zack Snyder was like, I think I can make them work together, and he tried it, and it didn't work.
No,
Nolan knows. Nolan knows. Nolan's not stupid, and they tried.
that's why when they asked Chris Nolan to do it at first, he
Yeah,
turned it down because they asked him before they asked Zack Snyder. Because there were even rumors like you know Christian Bale's going to come back to do Batman versus Superman, and Christian Bale's like, look, if Chris Nolan's not directing it, I'm not doing it, and so
right, right.
he turned it down.
You know what the funny thing is? Well, the fact that they asked Christopher Nolan, like, hey Nolan, we want you to make another Batman movie. It's like, all right, sure, why not? And we want you to have Superman there. What the fuck? Hell no. I'm
No,
out.
hell no.
Did she just pay attention to my last movies?
No,
No,
no, not,
spoilers.
not even that. He's like, not even that. Don't you pay attention to my quotes? What I said in the interviews? Like I
Yeah.
told you, this shit's not gonna work. Why are you even asking me?
And not only that, the fact that his films are it's practical. He does his films
He
in a
does
old
he
school
does it.
practical way,
He does it in the most like realistic way.
realistic way. I mean, he has effects only he uses special effects when it's necessary, like the
Yeah, because
scarecrow.
he doesn't really like
Uses
he
special
doesn't
effects.
really he really
Yeah.
doesn't like using special effects, even though he used it a lot in Inception.
No, but if you use it the right way, like
Yeah,
the scarecrow, you're gonna need special effects for that. And everyone knows, okay, if I trip out, if I'm on acid, if I'm high on Molly, this is what I'm gonna see. This is the shit I'm gonna see. So that's realistic to me. Or the whole
well, no, the way I like about it is just the way the tone of the movies. Like when you watch his trilogy, the Dark Knight trilogy, you don't feel like you're watching a superhero movie. You feel like you're watching a crime drama
you're
that has
watching a movie
Batman. Yeah, that you feel like you're watching a drama that just happens to have Batman in it.
or a heist or
Yeah.
what was heist films with the Joker. I think
hmm
that's one of the best heist films. He had a lot of um, heist scenes with the Joker. The Joker robbing the bank. That was one of the best scenes ever done. And then the Joker being chased by Batman, or Joker chasing the Batman, or the SWAT chasing the Joker. All that stuff, man. It was good stuff. And this is coming from like, someone who makes movies with these superheroes and characters that have no superpowers. Even with Bane, he made Bane as realistic as possible.
Yeah, instead of doing the
whole
the Venom thing, I like the idea of his mask. They said they made him like Darth Vader, where like Bane could not breathe without that mask. That's why he had to wear it.
Right.
So but he wasn't like but he didn't get his super strength from Venom. He was just a strong ass dude.
Yeah, I was worried about that. I was worried about that when Bane was going to be introduced on the third installment of Batman. I thought they were going to like inject some steroids to him, and he was going to be like this superpowered dude. And I was like, "Fuck!" I was afraid because I saw Batman popping.
Yeah, actually, well, that fucked up everything. Bane is actually one of Batman's like most intelligent. Yeah, and they just made Bane just be like super minded. All he said the whole movie was, "I'm Bane, Bane."
Do it again.
Bang! I'm Bang! It's like Groot. That's all. He says his name the whole movie.
But Groot's cute, so that's the only difference.
Well, no, when he's a kid, he's cute. As an adult, he just looks like a tree.
It's a freakish, like a tall ass, like broken dildo or something.
Yeah.
But going back to Bane, Nolan executed the character really well because he actually made him superior to Batman's intellect. Like, he was smart, even much more strategic. He was one step ahead of Batman in every.
Well, yeah, he did a great job. He followed the Batman Nightfall comic book.
Yeah, broke his back too, right? Like, oh, I remember that. He did that. He paralyzed Batman. That makes sense. Okay. I see where this is going. I like the pit. I like where the pit.
Oh yes.
Sorry. Yeah, the pit where they mentioned, when someone falls in the pit, someone dies, but then comes out alive. But they didn't make it to where it was like a Lazarus pit.
No, right? They made the pit a prison.
A prison, but once you leave, you become a different person. Someone immortal. I'm like, oh, so that's kind of like foreshadowing what they did with the pit in the previous comics. A lot of people didn't like that. You know what's funny? Let me tell you this. There were people complaining about the faster we forget about the Nolan Batman films and get a new Batman. This is before Justice League, right? This is way before Batman, Superman, Dawn of Justice, way before all that stuff. People have quoted, the faster we reboot the Nolan Batman, the better. So we can forget about what Nolan did with this Batman and finally have a DCEU universe, shared universe with our characters. Batman v Superman comes out, people are cheering, yeah, finally! Something Nolan can't do because he doesn't want to share Superman and Wonder Woman in his universe. Because they were complaining about Nolan. Because his movies are too realistic.
Yeah, they just wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work. And guess what happened? The JLA failed the box office, Suicide Squad, the shared universe is crumbling. And people are like, okay, we shouldn't listen to Nolan. We should have just done what Nolan did. Let's just make this a standalone. Let's just create a new universe. Now people are praising Nolan. See how retarded people are sometimes?
Yeah, but actually for Dark Knight Rises, I thought Chris Nolan would have used the Batman Prey storyline because it would have fit perfectly with how the Dark Knight ended.
Wait, say it again with the Dark Knight Rises.
The way Dark Knight ended,
Yeah,
I thought the Prey storyline would have been perfect for Dark Knight Rises.
the Prey storyline.
Yeah.
Which one is that?
Batman Prey. So it's basically the storyline is when Hugo Strange creates a smear campaign to paint Batman as this dangerous murderer. Because remember, Dark Knight ends with everybody thinking that Batman killed Harvey Dent, and so Hugo Strange, pretty much leading the charge to get rid of Batman because he's a murderous, dangerous, lunatic. It would have been perfect. And then also too, Catwoman has plays a role in that storyline as well. So since Catwoman's already in Dark Knight Rises, but all the difference is instead of having Bane, the main villain would have just been Hugo Strange.
Mm.
So
Do you think they should?
Batman, sorry, but yeah, in the storyline, Batman's basically trying to clear his name and prove to everybody that Hugo Strange is basically Batman just trying to clear his name in that whole entire storyline. So the way Dark Knight ended, I thought that would have been perfect storyline for Dark Knight Rises. But Chris Nolan decided not to go with that.
On the fourth installment
No. I'm talking about
on
the
Rises.
third. Yeah, Rises.
On
Like I'm
Rises,
saying,
right?
I thought the storyline he would have used was the storyline from Batman Prey, the comic
Mm.
book. Because like the way Dark Knight ended, I thought that storyline would have been perfect. Where everybody thinks Batman's a murderer because remember Gordon lied and said that Batman killed Harvey Dent, so nobody would know that he's Two Face. And then Hugo Strange in that storyline is basically creating a smear campaign to portray Batman as his murderer, and Batman's trying to clear his name. So I felt like with the way the movie ended in Dark Knight, it would have been perfect for the third one to use the Prey storyline, where he's basically trying to clear his name. And
Yeah.
yeah, so that's why I thought Chris Nolan was going to go that route, but he didn't.
Well, I think
Instead,
I think
he went with Nightfall and
Red
no
Nightfall. Yeah,
No Man's Land.
No Man's Land. Yeah. Overall, it was a good it was a good conclusion to the trilogy.
Yeah,
Uh, I still feel that the Nolan Batman trilogy is one of the best trilogies made. Aside, well, that and also the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I think those were the best three trilogies made. But how did you feel about?
yeah. You don't like the Twilight trilogy?
Um, I've never seen any of it. Have you?
No.
Yeah. Speaking of the Twilight trilogy, so the new Batman. How do you feel about the new Batman? The new cast, the new actor casted for the next Batman.
Well, I mean, we talked about it last time, but I'm trying to be optimistic, but
Thank you, Anthony.
I'm not really feeling the dude.
Definitely good. Is
But
it
then
because he's too?
from what I read, there was between him or the guy that plays Beast in the X-Men.
Yeah, I can't even picture him as Batman.
Yeah, me neither. Well,
He's Batman
for
White.
me though. That's because for me though, it's because like every time I see him, I just think of Beast. So that's kind of fucked it up for me.
Is it? You're like shitting on your girlfriend or your wife or something, right? With a
Yeah.
mistress.
It's like hold on. Like, aren't you supposed to be blue?
Look, I can be whatever you want. Okay, I can be blue. I can dress as a bat. Okay, like what do you want from me? What do you want from me?
I just want you to stay with the X-Men. That suits you better.
Yeah, which is temporary now since we are getting a new X Men,
Yeah.
right? Um,
Like your name is Hank, not Bruce.
um, so with this new Batman, they're now focusing on the detective skills of Bruce Wayne, of Batman. And they're also, from what I've read, I'm not sure if this is legit source, but from what I've read, I've heard that there is also going to be a Robin introduced to this first rebooted Batman. How do you feel about that? If it's true, how do you feel about that? You think it's too early because Batman's on his prime, but then again, Batman was still in his prime when he did meet a young Dick Grayson, right? So how do you feel about that?
Well, I don't know. I don't mind them introducing Robin. I just feel like I think they shouldn't do it for this first movie only because this is the movie is basically a reboot. So this is when Batman's like first starting out. It's gonna be like another Batman Begins. So I don't think he should make.
Uh,
I don't think he should get Robin that soon.
slightly, slightly a Batman Begins, but not too much. We already know how Batman became Batman, so there are no more origins. I think they're going to skip the origin part. Maybe some flashbacks here and there as a child, which
So
every Batman film has.
like they did with Batman '89.
Yeah, yeah. Well, not kind of, kind of. We're going to skip all that because we've already had that. We've had a full 1 hour. How long was that? How long was that origin when Bruce Wayne became Batman? It was like almost an hour, right?
Well, yeah, in Batman Begins, he doesn't become Batman until an hour into the movie.
Right, an hour to movies. So that would be like the second half. He's already Batman, right? Doing all this Batman stuff, right?
Yeah.
Right. And how long was that movie? Christopher Nolan's movies are like 3 hours long, right?
Well, Batman Begins like the shortest ones. They're like 2.5 hours.
But still, it's still long. But anyway, the first hour was the origin. I don't. I don't really want to see another origin of Batman.
Well,
I've
that's
seen.
what I said. Like, are they gonna? You think they're gonna do like a Tim Burton's Batman where they really never? It wasn't really an origin. Like right when the movie started, he's already Batman.
Yeah,
They just do flashbacks when he's like sitting in the cave, just being weird and thinking to himself.
being very to myself. There's a
Like
possibility.
Tim Burton's Batman is the most like antisocial Bruce Wayne ever. Like he's antisocial as Batman and Bruce Wayne.
That's true. Yeah, he was Batman. He was Batman every daylight and nighttime.
Yeah,
He didn't like going to his own parties. You know, at least with Christopher Nolan's Bruce Wayne, he acted like a big ass jerk. You
yeah,
know, who
dick.
talks a lot. You know, who likes to date celebrities and supermodels and
Yeah, like he made Bruce Wayne so much of a dick. Like you can't even like you wouldn't even think like, oh, this asshole can't be Batman. Like there's no way. This
even if you told him,
selfish.
yeah, even if you told everybody he was about like I'm Batman, everybody, like yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Then I'm fucking Robin.
Who?
Star Lord. No, I'm just kidding. After that, who? Star Lord, man. What the fuck? I. And speaking of which, there is also rumors that they may be writing a Batman Beyond script.
That'd be interesting.
To which, okay, if we're going to be rebooting this, to which the Bruce Wayne of that Batman Beyond might be played by Michael Keaton. How do you feel about that?
Well, it'll come back full circle, but I don't like the idea of doing the Batman Beyond movie.
Because if they did, I'm sure they're going to do a Batman Beyond movie. Because what if they did do a Batman Beyond movie and had Michael Keaton play an older Bruce Wayne, in which Michael Keaton can play an older Bruce Wayne because he's old now, right? He's what 60, almost 70, 65? How old is he now? He's
Let me see.
he's old. He's old enough to play the Vulture. He can definitely play an old Bruce Wayne. Anyways, I know he's over past his 60s.
Yeah, he is. He's 67.
Okay, so 67. So he's 67, right? An older Bruce Wayne. could play an older Bruce Wayne. Now, if he does play this older Bruce Wayne, does that mean that Batman and Batman Returns shares the same cinematic universe as Batman Beyond?
Well,
Or,
I don't think Michael Keaton could play Batman because he's still under contract with Marvel.
yeah, but for now, he's in contract with Marvel. But you know how Marvel and DC like to swap their actors a little bit and play different roles. Just like the guy who said, "Who?" The black guy, Star-Lord, man. He was Shazam.
Yeah,
Shazam. Halle
yeah,
Berry played.
but that's different though. That's different because like he was only in one movie.
Right. Yeah, I know
Like
what you mean.
yeah, like Michael Keaton's actually gonna be in Spider-Man: Far From Home as well.
That's true. It's like putting it's like getting Tom Holland playing Spider-Man and having him play the Green Lantern in
Yeah,
DC. Yeah, it'd be weird. I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, I kind of don't like it when they do that. Only because I'm so invested with their character in that one franchise alone that I
it got
can't
it.
really do
It took
anything
me.
else.
If I say it took me a while for me to get used to Josh, Chris Evans to be Captain America because I still
I was gonna say the
pictured him
same.
as a Human Torch.
I was gonna say the same thing. I'm like, dude, I still see him as Human Torch. I still see him as fucking Human Torch. No matter how buff he gets, no matter how many times he wears that costume, or no matter how many how his character is just this noble, charismatic, all about the American dream character, I still picture him as a Human Torch, and I liked him as a Human Torch. That's why I couldn't picture him as Captain America, because he was perfect as a Human Torch. I mean, wasn't he?
Yeah, like he
He was
fit. He
perfect.
to me he actually made a better Human Torch than he did Captain America. Like he was
In,
perfect for Johnny Storm.
maybe in the first,
Kind of
maybe
like
in
how
the
Ryan Reynolds was perfect for Deadpool. I feel like he was perfect for Johnny Storm.
I can't picture Ryan Reynolds playing any other superhero than Deadpool.
Exactly.
Can't picture Robert Downey Jr. playing any other superhero than Tony Stark, Iron Man.
Romeo, I got some bad news for you though.
Fuck,
Michael Keaton's not going to return for Toy Story 4.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Who was he playing?
In Toy Story 3, he played the Ken doll. So he's not coming back for Toy Story 4 though. Yeah. He's not coming back for Toy Story 4.
Oh shit! Hey Barbie, let's boogie. All right, Ken. Ken, I thought you loved me. Sorry, Barbie, but things has changed.
I'm
And
I'm
big
the I'm the vulture now.
I'm the vulture. That's cool. He had a small role as Ken, and I actually liked him playing Ken. But oh man, Toy Story. We'll talk about it some other time. I love Toy Story. Um, so
Yeah, they need to stop coming out with sequels every 10 years though. They need to make these movies closer together.
just consistent, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the actors are getting old now, man. I'm like, dude, you better make sure these guys have a good life insurance or
Well,
something.
we're about to say the original Slinky's already dead.
I know, but the voice actor who played who replaced him was actually pretty good. He played that role pretty well. I mean, he voiced that role well. But anyway, back to the DCEU. You know what I was hoping that they would do to really explain the reboot of the DCEU universe, the new DCEU, a Flashpoint, bro. They should just make a Flash movie, had him call it Flashpoint, and just reboot the whole entire thing. Just like Thanos with the snap, and just like X-Men with the Days of Future Past. Have a movie reboot the fucking franchise. That's a good way to explain everything. That way, now if Barry if the cinematic Barry Allen did a Flashpoint, he would go back save his mom and create this multiverse or create a butterfly effect to where the Superman, the actor, is going to look completely different in the future now. He's not going to look like the Henry Cavill Superman. He's going to look like a different Superman. Batman's going to look like a different Batman. We can still keep Wonder Woman and Aquaman and Shazam and still keep them in the cinematic universe, right? But it's only those two for some odd reason. Something happened because of the Flashpoint. I mean, wouldn't that have been a better idea? Because with the Flashpoint, you can do, and I get it, multiverse is confusing to the general audience, but they kind of did it with Endgame, the Avengers Endgame, and it kind of worked.
Again, that's more that was more established. This is not really established.
I know, but in able to reboot something, why not just use a movie to reboot it? A Flashpoint rebooting it, like rebooting itself.
Because Flash is not coming out until 2021, and I guess DC wants to do that shit now.
I guess, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. They're fucking up, bro. This is how they fuck up because they're rushing, and this is what they did. They rushed it with TLA, just like how we just talked about this. They didn't establish the characters, and now they're going to be rushing and rushing. Hopefully, with this new reboot cinematic universe that they're doing, hopefully they've learned from Marvel, starting from scratch.
And see, well, yeah, but I don't think they've learned though, because it's like, okay, they're coming out with the Birds of Prey movie next year as well in 2020, so it's also gonna be part of the new cinematic universe. And actually, Obi-Wan's actually playing Black Mask in this movie.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel about that? Gregor? What's his name? Gregor. McGregor.
Ewan McGregor.
He's McGregor.
And my crush since kindergarten, Rosie Perez, is gonna be in it too.
Who?
Rosie Perez.
Who is she?
She's a Puerto Rican chick in White Man Can't Jump.
Oh shit! For real? She's making a comeback? Who does she play?
Dude, she's even at 60, she can still get it.
Okay. Calm down. Hey, put your goddamn penis away. This is my review too.
I mean, you can have Rosie too. We can share it.
Goodness gracious, Anthony! I think this is a different conversation.
Nah, she's playing Renee Montoya.
Who's that?
Are you fucking serious? She's the cop. She's the cop in Batman.
Oh, she's playing that cop? Isn't she
Yeah.
a little too old to play that cop?
Oh, yeah, she is.
I mean,
in the comic book, she's a lesbian too.
Okay. Just like Gotham.
Yeah.
Hey, how do you feel about the Gotham series, bro? I stopped watching it,
I stopped watching it because after a while, to me, it just became ridiculous.
It just got goofy, huh?
Yeah, like I couldn't take it seriously anymore, and I just had to stop.
Okay, cool. We'll talk about that in a different podcast, bro. Because I got words for that bullshit, man. I'm glad they stopped. Are they continuing with that shit, or are they?
No, they took it off the air. Like this year was the last season.
I cannot keep up with that bullshit that they're busting with that.
Like the premise was cool at first, and then like it just got campier and campier.
It got goofy, bro. And I was kind of like ashamed to watch it with you because you introduced it to me.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like I did, but it was like the first season. The first season was actually good though.
The second episode, like, oh, dude, this is really good. The third episode, you're like, this is great. And then after the fourth episode, I was like, what the fuck just happened? What's going on here?
Well, no, like to me, though, like the first season, to me, the first couple seasons were good. It's like, but once they hit like season 3 is when it started going downhill. When like they introduced, like what killed me was when they made Edward Nygma Riddler. And then made, Oswald Cobblepot already Penguin, and then started introducing like Mr. Freeze, and I'm thinking like, okay, they're introducing all these villains as Mr. Like they're not even.
Dude, I'm getting pissed off talking about this because
Yeah.
Batman's villains. Okay, Batman and his villains are two of the same coin. Batman's villains are villains because of Batman, not because of fucking Baby Wayne. Look, don't get me started this shit.
Commissioner Gordon though. But
Oh
no,
my
but
god,
like
everyone's fucking Batman except for Batman. What the fuck, dog?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like okay,
How
they
can
made
they get-
like Edward Nick. I'm like okay, how could Edward Nigma be
Yeah,
Riddler already, and how can like Victor Freeze already be Mister Freeze, and it's like Batman's still only like
it's
13.
not the Riddler because of all that bullshit. He's the Riddler because of Batman. These villains are the villains because of Batman. Batman created his villains because he wears a cape and cowl. These
Yeah, I
villains
get
are,
that.
oh my god, don't get me started on this bullshit,
Yeah,
bro.
but dude, but what pissed me off
Sorry.
though is like, yeah, but so like, what was I start watching because like, it didn't make any sense. Like, okay, if Bruce Wayne's only like 13, and you have this grown ass man that's already Mister Freeze, then it's like by the time he even grows up to be Batman, all his villains be old ass men. Like it just didn't make any sense.
Not only that, the fact that Batman never traveled all around the world to 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 perfect his combat skills. He never did he even travel around the world. He never. I don't know.
Dude, when I
I
stopped watching it,
I
the
cannot.
kid was only like 13, so I don't know what happened after like season three.
I cannot. I cannot talk about this right now. I I'm I can't even. I'll watch it. I'll watch the seasons, but then I keep shaking my head, man. Like, what the fuck are they doing with the Batman villains? How, like you said, why are they villains already? Why are they like established villains? How are they villains? This is not their origin. They fucked up every origin of each villain. And
Yeah,
don't
I
get
mean, like to me, I mean, okay, I don't mind them like changing the origin, but it's like make it. You have to let it make sense. Like, how can Riddler be like 30 and Bruce Wayne still be like 13? It doesn't
right,
make any
right,
sense.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I that show. I don't know. It's and you know why the show is like that. You know why they how many seasons are there? Like eight?
Let me look it up. Because at first it was gonna be like a cop drama focusing on the GCPD,
Yeah,
and then somehow like through like somehow midstream they decided to change their mind and make like a
Arkham
Batman
City,
origin. Yeah,
like a Arkham City. They tried no, they I think they were trying to because the Arkham games were doing so well
yeah.
that they figured, hey, since the Arkham games are doing well, let's kind of do something like that, but a younger version.
To answer your question, it was only on for 5 years. They did 5 seasons.
Out of 5 seasons, you know why? You know why they continued with this season with the Gotham season because of they had a pretty large fan base. People were talking about like, hey, just keep making it weird, make it different. You know, keep doing that. Like they had a weird, I don't know, man. They had a large fan base, man. But the comic book fans, especially those who are familiar with Batman, they're pissed off, man. They're pissed off as with what's going on with the characters and what they're going.
All right, so okay, but even this writer from Entertainment Weekly, he criticized it because like okay, like season one, which is where me and you started off when I introduced it to you, is it got great reviews. Like Rotten Tomatoes even gave it like a high score, 71 out of 100. But it started
Mhm.
going downhill in season two, and even for season two, this writer for Entertainment Weekly, he said the same thing we just said. He said the problem that he has is that all the characters are already nearly fully formed. So going forward with the show, all they can do is become either more or less of what they already are. Like there's no growth, and that's where the
Yeah,
show kind of fucked up because like you have all these characters, but like I said, like you have Edward Nygma and you're already making him the Riddler, and it's like it doesn't even make any sense because like Bruce Wayne's not even old enough to be Batman yet. I mean, the
And
kid's not even
most,
old enough. The kid's not even old enough to drive, let alone be Batman.
yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a different time. I don't want to lose my I don't want to lose my patience and my focus, and I don't want to have to talk about Gotham and have to schedule a time for anger management. So I might end up like breaking something. But so what were you talking about before we got sidetracked to Gotham? Oh yeah, so the new Batman. Yeah, we'll just see what happens with that. We'll see what happens.
I mean,
Anything else, Rob?
we still got 2 years to go.
Got 2 years to go. So, is there anything else you want to mention about the DCEU and its future before we
Uh,
talk about our MCU Phase 4 on the next episode? By the way, we can do that on the next episode.
no, man. I think that's I have nothing else to say. I mean, I'm interested to see. I mean, I guess Wonder Woman will kick it off next year, so I'm interested
Mm-hmm.
to see that. I like the first one, so I'll see how the second one goes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's another one too, where questionable casting, but I'm going to give her a chance to see how she does. Um,
Who's a questionable casting?
okay.
No, who is a questionable casting?
Oh, fuck. Hold on, let me pull it up because I can't think of her name right now.
Gal Gadot?
No, the woman playing the cheetah.
Oh, Who's she casted?
Oh yeah,
Wait.
Christine. Her name's Kristen Wiig. She's the she's the chick off of Bridesmaids, and she was also on. Well, she's also from Saturday Night Live and some other movie and Ghostbusters. But she's a comedian. She's a comedic actor. So
What?
this would be
Wait
like
a
her
minute.
yeah, this would be like
Let me,
her first serious
let me
role.
see. What's her name again?
Kristen Wiig.
Hold on. Let me look at this up. Kristen.
Wiig.
Oh shoot, the Ghostbuster chick.
Yeah, she's playing Cheetah. So this would be like her first serious role, but like I'm
Oh,
not. Like I said, I'm gonna give her an open mind, see how she does. Maybe she could be like Heath Ledger and surprise me. But when they first announced it, like she's playing Cheetah, like okay,
oh, wait a minute. She was also in another movie. She's actually cute. She's a little bit older, right?
yeah, I think she's like in her 40s.
Yeah, but I mean, she looks really cute. Oh, she was that girl in Ghostbusters, huh? She was the Venkman version. She
Yeah,
was a
and
female version of Venkman, not Venkman. What's her face? What's his face? Who's that smartest guy in Ghost Rider? I mean, Ghost
that's
Rider.
yeah,
Not
it's
Peter Venkman.
no, it's
Not Finn, not
no,
Ray.
damn,
I
this
named all
is
three of them.
this is sad too because I'm a Ghostbusters fan.
Egon Spengler.
Egon, yeah, Egon.
Ah, she was like the female version of Egon Spengler.
But yeah,
Spangler.
but she's best known though for Bridesmaids because that's when she was nominated for all those awards and shit.
Damn. She's a bit older now, so she's going to be playing the Heat Cheetah. But then again, the
Yeah, she's 45.
damn.
That's what I'm saying.
Two,
Though, like she's, but I mean, the reason why I say it's question because, like I said, she's a comedian, so she does mostly like comedy movies. So this will be like her
yeah.
first time doing like a serious role. But like I said, I'm going to be open minded and hopefully she can surprise me. If she could be like Heath Ledger and just like play the shit out of Cheetah.
I usually I would question the casting if they're like somewhere around their around over their 40s.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't question it anymore because of Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd, especially when he started, he's like in his late 40s, and he played Ant-Man very well. And he was able to keep himself in shape. And his partner, who played the Wasp, she was like around her late 40s as well, and she did very well playing the Wasp. Also, Robert here, he was in his late 30s or almost 40s when he started Iron Man. So I don't even question their ages anymore. If they can deliver, then that's where I judge them. But yeah, man.
Yeah, Paul Rudd is 50.
Yeah, man. Right? But how old was he when he did Ant-Man? He was like 47, 46, late 40s, right? It was like, yeah, it was his late 40s.
Well, yeah, he was 39 when no, he was 36 when we did a 40-year-old virgin.
No, Ant-Man.
Ant-Man 2015. So yeah, he was 46.
He was 46. See, so I don't even question their age because I don't know what you feed these actors, but they seem to be doing pretty well even after their 40s.
Well, no, like I said, to me the age is never an issue. It's just like as far as for Kristen Wiig anyway, it's just like she's never done a movie like this, so I don't really know how she would do playing this type of role.
Yeah, yeah.
That's always why I questioned it. But like I said, I'm trying to keep an open mind, and you never know. Just because she's a comedian, because to me, comedians make like the best actors, so she might just play Cheetah really well and just like knock it out the park.
I think so too. Well, there you have it. Our DCEU review on their next phase with their reboot. Well, I'm your Romeo, and this is your Anthony. Inspector Ad. By the way, Inspector Ad.
Yeah.
Why do you like fat girls?
Well, first of all, you need to preface that I like fat white women.
Oh shit! All right.
Fat black women disgust me.
Fat what? Fat black women disgust you?
Yeah.
So what? You don't like the milk chocolate anymore? You're all about the vanilla?
Oh no! I like the milk chocolate. I showed you the pictures, but
I saw that.
Yeah, but she's not fat.
How do you like your coffee?
I don't like coffee, but if I were to drink, I like some creamer in it.
So you like your caramel macchiato?
Yeah.
Goodness.
Not a huge dark chocolate fan, but I'll work with it. I can work with it.
I said coffee. You're talking about chocolate.
I mean, I don't like my coffee black either, but like I said, I can work with it.
All right. Well, this is Inspector Ed, and this is Romeo. We'll see you on the next episode.
Peace.
Good night. Peace.